Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Disasters. I hope you have your puke bags because we have a puke-tastic episode prepared for you. By the way, I'm Steve Fall. You can follow me on Twitter at Steve Fall. You, of course, you can follow my co-hosts for this fun adventure. Miss Krssi Love, how you doing today?
I'm okay. Yourself? What's up?
Oh man, I got a bucket over here because I'm ready to talk about WrestleMania 26. Bret the Hitman Hart taking on Vince McMahon.
Wow. Who? Why? Who? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but let me explain how the show works. At the end of the show, we take today's topic and we hand out the prestigious disaster award. What's that, you're asking? Well, at the end of the show, we hand out maybe the most you can get is a 5 disaster, which means it's the worst possible thing you've ever seen with your eyes, or a half a disaster, which is saying, meh, it's really not that bad. But this one's pretty bad. So let's talk about it. Obviously, this match is based all around what happened in 1997 at the Montreal Screwjob at Survivor Series, when Bret Hart was heading out the door to go to WCW, and he refused to drop the WWF title. That's right, put the F back in, to Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Why? Because he hates Shawn Michaels, and he didn't want to put him over before he left, because Shawn, backstage, said he would never put over Bret Hart. Okay, so in a fake wrestling world, these two have worked themselves into a shoot, which then sent Bret getting screwed, and he goes to WCW, has a terrible run.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels returns in 2002 and has an incredible second run. But now we are here. Bret Hart has returned in 2011 on an episode of Raw, which actually is also the same night that TNA Wrestling decided to go head-to-head with Raw for the first time ever. So the Monday Night Wars have returned. They dusted off Bret Hart and they brought him back. So here we are, WrestleMania 26, rehashing what happened in 1997. Now,
how many years ago was that? Is that like how much?
Is that always a smart decision? So 2010 is when WrestleMania 26 took place. 13 years ago led us to this event. And if you know anything about Bret Hart, he had a stroke. He had a lot of bad concussions. So technically he's not medically cleared to perform. So how do you do that? You have a street fight. It's a non-sanctioned match, so it's a street fight. So really, you're not wrestling. So his insurance policy wouldn't suddenly pull that crap on him and be like, hey, you technically wrestled, so now you don't have to pay out your insurance anymore. So they figured a way around it. Loopholes. So what were your thoughts after watching this match?
Okay, so the video package wasn't bad. Like the video package was put together fairly good.
Yes.
When it starts with Bret coming out, and you're like, he doesn't look like he's ready for any type of like fight.
Yeah. Like
he shouldn't, like, he's not the Bret we seen 13 years ago. This is not the same man that people adored and loved. But you know, from the nostalgia, am I saying that correct? Nostalgia. There you go. Nostalgia. People love him. This is their kids, kids grew up with him. So this is something that they're excited to see. Yeah, exactly. And this is in a big stadium. So this is something big. So he comes out. Then, of course, you have Vince McMahon come out. And then it just starts to go from downhill after that.
On our first episode of Wrestling Disasters, we talked about how Goldberg was taken and transferred. We said, he had different music, different trunks, different everything about him, it seemed. Bret Hart, same thing. His music was so good in 1997, in the 90s.
Yep.
And then here, they're like, we're going to just redo it and make it as crappy as possible.
Right. Like, I know, I was like, was his music like that? But they did change it. Like, you dumbed it down. Like, why dumb it down? You haven't dumbed down Hulk Hogan's music.
Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, The Rock.
They all have the same music. All have the same music. You did not dumb it down. They all have the same music from when they came in to when they leave. They're still the same thing.
Yep.
What makes this different?
I don't know. To sell more iTunes? I don't know. I don't know. And he doesn't have traditional glasses. And when he comes down for this matchup, he's wearing like shorts.
Yeah, he had on jeans, shorts, and a t-shirt, and his big, jacket or whatever. And he's missing his glasses. Like, you dumb it down now. Like, okay, he's a little older, but you should still, maybe he's not going to have the same glasses on, but don't dumb it down. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you did. Even if you're having a street fight, why would you like do that?
I don't know. I'll never understand it. And I get it. Like, you have Bret Hart back. You have a contract. You convinced him finally to return. Even when he went to the Hall of Fame in 2005, he refused to go to WrestleMania the next night when they do the whole thing like, welcome the WWF Hall of Fame class of 2005.
You do that so good, though.
They paid me a lot of money that year. So, though they were such bitches about it because they were like, Bret Hart refused to be here. But it turns out that he actually had a pre-existing engagement.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I can't, I don't want to be a person who backs out on I would rather have a big check than be who I want to be, a man of my word. So that was Bret Hart's thing. So I know everyone believes he wasn't there because he didn't want to be there. Well, he probably didn't want to be there, but he also had a prior engagement, which is fine with me. Though we decided to get a special guest referee here, Bruce Hart. And if you know anything about Bruce Hart, he is the worst brother you could ever have in your life. He seemed like something was off from the moment I saw him. I didn't even know that he was the worst one, but still, like, the worst one. From when he came down, and it just didn't seem right. Like, yes. It just went off. Like, if you know the history of Bruce Hart, he has a book, and he's a little negative about the Hart family. And I see someone sneaking behind me, not a Bret Hart fan. Though it gets crazy because Bruce Hart always tried to pitch ideas to Vince McMahon. He wanted to be the Owen Hart in the 1994 storyline. He even pitched that idea. Bruce Hart pitched it, and Bret was like, I'll pitch it, but I'll pitch it for Owen. So
got it. Okay.
So kind of Bruce got a little upset about that.
Okay.
But there's been years and years of he wanted to run Stampede Wrestling. So then he wanted Vince McMahon to kind of back him on that play. He wanted to come in as a wrestler. And there were moments in time where it happened, but there's also a moment where Dunk the Clown dumps water all over Bruce Hart too, and it's hilarious. And he's pissed because no one told him that was going to happen. So he's a little upset. So he finally gets a chance to be the referee for this matchup that everyone wants to see, but nobody wants to see it. It's also informed by Vince McMahon that the entire Hart family is going to be involved. Lumberjacks. We're going to get some lumberjacks here too.
He brought help with him. So he brings the whole Hart family that was there to induct their father that year. So he brings all of them out. And it's just like, and then you have Natty and Tyson and David all come out as well because they were a tag team at the time. So you have all of these people come out, all these relatives, and they come out and they're all supposed to be on Vince McMahon's side.
Yeah.
Right.
He said a WrestleMania size Screwjob. So that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I guess Vince paid them all to turn on Hart, but then Hart informed them that his family had informed him about this earlier. And they're here to screw Vince. So did they take the check and they cashed it already? Or was it, we need a briefcase full of cash, unmarked bills, perhaps?
Or did it go like, okay, this is going to happen. You guys are going to come help me, but I feel like Vince is going to call one of you and like convince you all to come. So you're going to say yes, but you're still going to help me in the interim. Like you're not going to help him. You're going to take whatever he gives you, and then we're all going to share it later on because you're going to help me instead.
To me, this reminds me of those moments where like it's like a heel turn where like the match has been going on for like half an hour, and then someone runs down at the last second and like turns on someone. Like, why didn't you show up when the match just started? Because in reality, if the person you're going to turn on didn't win, would you actually still run down and turn on them?
Right.
So if Bret Hart had this one in the bag already, would his family even bother to come play along and help Vince, but they actually help Bret?
No. It didn't make any sense at all.
And if I had a counter up while I was watching this match, I swear there was 79 chair shots and Bret was just smashing Vince. If I want to watch an old man get beat down, I would go down to the pier. I don't need to watch this on TV. I'm paying for this. I don't know why down at the pier there's an old man being beat up, but in my city, he is. Poor grandpa.
Getting his ass kicked.
Poor grandpa. Still love you, Grandpa. I'm sorry you got beat up by that guy at the pier. But I don't want to watch an old man. And at the time, Vince McMahon is like already at 179. So he's getting attacked by chairs and chairs and chairs. Even the Hart Dynasty beat him up.
Like Davey looked like he could barely pick him up, but he picked him up, and Tyson comes and clothesline him, and then Natty comes and slaps him. It's just a lot going on, and it's just not necessary. It's then the sisters come in, they're trying to help push Vince into the ring, but they can't push him because he's too big. It just was a disaster. The lumberjacks were not needed. The lumberjacks couldn't really be lumberjacks. It just was really, really bad. And this was I felt bad for this people that were in this big stadium that had to watch this awfulness.
Let's see how many people were there. They didn't get to see Shawn Michaels retire that night, so I guess they had to suffer twice. 72,219 fans were here to watch an old man get attacked by a steel chair for 100,000 times in a row.
It's sad. It's so sad.
I don't want to watch Grandpa get beat up, but I guess we did. And I like to play this new game here on Wrestling Disasters, and it's called Can You Guess How Long This Match Was?
Okay.
Let's go to the tape, folks. So you can't go over. Price is Right rules, and I give you a hint. It's not longer than 15 minutes.
Ooh, okay. Wow. Okay.
No holds barred lumberjack match with the best damn referee in the world, Bruce goddamn Hart.
Okay. I'm ready.
How long?
Okay. 11:32.
I'm sorry, you do not win today's showcase. It was 11 minutes and 9 seconds. You went over.
Wow.
You should have said $1. You should have said $1.
Okay.
But we'll send you home with some nice prizes. What do we got for you, Johnny? A nice puke bag. That's already filled.
11 minutes and 9. It felt longer than that.
It felt endless. It felt like it took 11 minutes for Bret Hart to walk down the entrance.
Right.
This whole thing, I love Bret Hart to pieces. I love him to pieces. He's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time, including his arch nemesis, Shawn Michaels. But good God, man, a payday is a payday, but sometimes you gotta just know when to say no.
No.
Like Dare, The broken record method. No. If kids were taught Dare in school, I know what I'm talking about, but maybe someone else doesn't. Yes, it's a terrible, terrible match. And, Bret Hart ends up winning after murdering an old man in front of our eyes.
And then the poor family goes and walks away in the sunset.
They cashed the check.
Right.
They went out,
everyone did.
They must have found a casino and just had a good time with Vince McMahon's money. And if it's a check, Vince should have been calling up Shane, I gotta cancel that check. Shane. He's in his bed crying. But yes, it was a terrible match, but it's time to hand out the prestigious Wrestling Disaster Award. Did this match deserve 5 disasters, the worst possible thing you'd ever seen with your eyes? Or a half a disaster, possibly, where you're saying, it's really not that bad. What do you got?
I'm giving it 3.5.
3.5. Why'd you give it 3.5?
It was bad, but it wasn't awful.
So you like watching old men get beat up, you sick person, you. I knew you're the perfect person for this podcast with me. Yes, it was fun watching an old man get beat down with a steel chair. It was fun watching it.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was so sad, really, to watch.
Was it really?
It was sad to see one of my heroes growing up, Bret Hart, in jorts and an oversized T-shirt.
Yeah. Right. It was not even shorts. It really wasn't. And a 3 size too big t-shirt on him. Yeah, it just
it's like when one of your kids wears, your clothes, and suddenly your children are wearing an oversized t-shirt that they're getting lost in. That's what happened to that's what happened to Bret Hart. I feel so bad. So bad. I'm so sorry, Bret. I love you so much. Please don't hurt me.
We love you. We want the best for you, and we expect we know that you can do better. That's why we do this. So.
That's right. You are still the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be in my heart. You gave it 3.5. Yeah, I'll go with 3.5 as well. I think that's a good choice.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's not 5. It's not a 5. It's bad, but it's not that bad.
True.
It's like right. I feel like it's like right in the middle. I think giving it a 4 would have been too bad. Like I don't think it's that. It didn't get that far.
Oh, trust me, there'll be matches that you'll be like 4, 5,
yes,
5.5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
5 is the most you can get here, folks. But I have a feeling at some point we're gonna have to level up, because once we get to some things like the Chamber of Horrors or there's gonna be Jackie Gator matches coming up from Raws.
Right.
TNA things with Jeff Hardy and Sting. We're gonna get to those. Don't you worry, folks. Don't you worry.
Yes, yeah. We're gonna cover all of them.
Oh yes,
worst
we
of
will.
The worst.
Yes, we will. But thank you again for tuning in, everyone, to Wrestling Disasters. I hope you brought your puke bags for this situation. If you want to watch it, this match, Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon, no holds barred lumberjack match with Bruce Hart as the special guest referee.
That should have been Bruce Pritchard.
That's 3 stipulations in one match. I didn't even think about that. 3 of them.
See, we should have known something was up. Yeah,
that's like Kennel from Hell level. A steel cage match with a Hell in a Cell with dogs pissing and pooping running around the ring. That's what this is. Yeah. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. Except Vince McMahon is the dog pooping his pants after being shattered to death with a steel chair.
It's true.
I feel bad. But thank you, everyone.
No, you don't.
I don't feel bad. It's fun. It's fun. Folks, I've been Steve Fall. You can follow me on Twitter at Steve Fall. You can follow my co-host at Krssi Love.
True Hill Krssi Love.
Yeah, you spell it in a weird
Twitter.
way.
Yeah.
Folks, you can look her up. She'll be there. Folks, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time for another edition of Wrestling Disasters right here. Bye.
Later.